Hello again off the top. He said, she said, 3 topics, 2 minutes each. Anything goes. There are no taboos. It is not taboo to be gay, but what if you don't want to be gay? Or what if a parent doesn't want their child to be gay? Should they have the right to put them in psychotherapy to make them straight? In California, that's legal, but a group of lawmakers would like to see that change. There is legislation pending that would ban this controversial form of sexual orientation therapy. State Senator Ted Lieu wrote the bill and wishes he could do more to stop what he calls a dangerous practice.
I would actually ban it for everybody if I could, but we understand that adults can do risky and stupid things if they want to, but we do ban dangerous things for children.
But some conservative religious groups included think conversion therapy could be a good thing. They say a ban would interfere with parents' rights to seek appropriate psychological care for abused children.
I will admit there's quackery out there, but reparative therapy, which is what I do, authentic reparative therapy, it is absolutely based on science, good research, and it works.
Well, our contributors will be the judge of that. They are radio talk show host and civil rights attorney Leo Terrell and doctor of social ethics Charlotte Laws. Our pictures are furnished by Skype. And Leo, where do we start with this? Should there be a law banning this type of therapy?
Yes, immediately. I am so offended by this. Now, let me be very clear. Parents have certain rights, but these children have rights too. For a parent to say, I don't want you, son, to be gay, I'm going to send you to therapy, what type of damaging effect will this have on this child's self-confidence? The children has rights, notwithstanding the parental control. Fred, when you picked this topic, it really bothered me because honestly and truly, these children are being forced to conform to the lifestyle of their parents. They have a right to grow up and decide their own choosing. And I find this law offensive. I hope this ban goes into effect immediately because I'm totally in favor of the kids' right to choose their own lifestyle.
Charlotte, what do you think about this?
Well, I don't agree with you, Leo. I don't think that being gay is a sin or a disease, as some Christians might want you to think, but I also don't think you should be legislating on this. And, you know, the argument for the supporters of this legislation, they're saying that it leads to depression and suicide. Lots of things lead to depression and suicide. In fact, Christianity can lead to depression and suicide. One of my closest friends tried to kill herself a year ago because of Christianity.
You're wrong.
Parents, you know,
you are bringing religion in this. This is not a religious issue. You are telling me that the parents, you're telling me that the parents have the right to tell a child how to act when he becomes an adult?
Parents tell kids, I hope you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. I hope you're going to Sunday school. I hope you're going to find a nice girl. Parents tell kids all sorts of stuff.
Charlotte, don't you think it is more damaging for a parent to tell a child, if you have these certain feelings, repress them, because that's not the way you should be?
I'm not saying it isn't a bad thing or that it's damaging, but I'm saying parents do lots of damaging things. It doesn't mean we legislate against it. We should do PR on it. We should discuss it. We should educate, but we don't legislate everything.
Go ahead, Leo.
This is not a question of legislation. This is a right of a young child to decide his own personal lifestyle, and a parent doesn't have a right to dictate how a child should act for the next 40 or 50 years of his or her life.
That's what rebellion is all about. That's why kids rebel against their parents. Their parents always try to get them to do things that the kids don't want to do.
Well, you know what? With all due respect, just observing this is a little more than rebellion. If someone has feelings and they believe they're gay, and you try to convince them that they're not because you think it's wrong or immoral, I have to tell you, I think you're doing a great deal of damage to any young person that goes through that. Let's move on. When a student receives a college scholarship, they're expected to perform academically or athletically. When a student doesn't perform, they lose the scholarship. When it comes to sports, State Senator Alex Padilla would like to change that. Padilla has authored a bill that would require state universities to provide equivalent financial assistance to students who don't have their scholarships renewed. If a player suffers an injury, I agree. Their education should be paid for. But what if it's for disciplinary actions or academic ineligibility or student athletic performance? Should schools be required to keep paying? University of California officials say it would tax the system an additional $3 million a year. What do you think, Charlotte? No matter what happens, should schools pay all the way?
You know, I can see both sides of this issue, and the main thing is I actually think the whole system should be revamped. I don't like the idea that these athletes get scholarships, that it's treated as a business, that it's about making money off the students and they're commodities. And the emphasis in college should be education. That's what they're there for. And the graduation rates are very low for these athletes. They often do not finish school. They don't do very well. And only 2% of them are going to go on to professional athletics.
All right, but that's all fine and good.
So I feel bad for them.
Charlotte, that's all fine and good. The bottom line is it's not that way. Sports is big business in college, and that's how they generate an awful lot of revenue. So the question again is, if you lose your scholarship, should they continue to pay for you to go to school?
I think this legislation brings up, I think it's got some loopholes in it, and I would want to see those taken out. I think that some kids may see this as an opportunity to get the scholarship and then not get renewed on purpose in order to get 5 years of paid education.
Oh, come on.
It gives an advantage to California schools against some of the other schools in the country.
Good. Leo, go ahead.
Let me be very direct.
All right, go ahead.
Football and sports, big business in college, and you're talking about these college coaches going in there recruiting these 17, 18-year-old kids, get them assigned to their school, and then have the discretion to take away a scholarship if they don't perform or they have academic problems. Fred, you know as well as I do, football is a big business. The Pac-10 or the Pac-12 signed a multi-million-dollar TV contract. You're talking about a few bucks to make sure these kids have an opportunity.
Leo, hold on a sec. Leo, hold on a sec. First, the Pac-12 TV contract is irrelevant in this conversation. I understand why you brought it up. Here's my point. If you're on an academic scholarship at any university and you do not maintain a certain grade point average, do they not have the right to take the scholarship from you?
Yes, Fred,
All
but
right.
you're going to equate athletic scholarships to an academic scholarship. They're based on different formulas, different factors. And I'm telling you that there's too much power for a coach to take away a scholarship, not on academic ability, but let's say he's not performing. That's very subjective.
If there is a disciplinary problem, I think you could remove the scholarship. If somebody gets hurt, by the way, I think we're all in agreement here.
Yeah.
You keep the scholarship.
Yes.
I mean, if you get hurt representing the school, you keep the scholarship. All right, let's move on. On the topic of money, the city of Los Angeles needs it, and here's one way to make it up. Jack up those fines for parking tickets. The mayor believes the city can make about $40 million a year. One of his ideas, if you get a ticket for parking in a street sweeping zone, that'll cost you $78. That's not all. The plan is to tag a $10 increase to a number of parking fees. City spokesperson said the Department of Transportation needs to reach its financial targets so that vital city services can be preserved. In other words, the city is facing a $238 million shortfall, and the money has to come from somewhere. Many complain they simply can't afford higher fines. Here's the mayor's answer.
Come on. Are you kidding me? Look, people don't have to park illegally. When they do, they get fined for it.
Now, Leo, I know you would struggle to come up with the additional 10 bucks. That's not the question. The question is, do you agree with the hikes?
I have two points here. This hike is regressive, and it will affect poor people like Leo Terrell. It will not hurt rich people like George Clooney or Fred Roggin. So my problem here is simply this, though. The mayor has a point. If they break the law, there should be a fine. It serves as a deterrent. So I'm not upset with the hike. I'm just concerned with the effect it has on a certain class of people like myself.
Like yourself. Charlotte, what do you think?
Well, I agree that it is going to disproportionately hurt the poor. But, I mean, I don't think that politicians really understand what the average person goes through. You may remember a year ago, there was something called the Gold Card Desk. And for 20 years, they were dismissing tickets for VIPs, for politicians. And they did a study over like the 2 years before, and 1,000 tickets were dismissed. The politicians are supposed to be transferring employees to, firing them or laying them off rather than transferring them to other departments. That's what they were supposed to be doing. Instead, they're burdening the taxpayer more. So I don't like this. I don't like that they're doing it. It's like a sin tax is basically what it is.
No, these people are breaking the law, and they should be, and it serves as a deterrent because it's not a tax in which you're trying to raise general funds on some type of sin tax. This is a violation of the law. And so I don't have a problem with that. It just affects a particular class of people.
It's an excessive fine. The 8th Amendment of the Constitution says you can't have excessive fines. And I think it's excessive. I don't think it's a deterrent, personally.
And Leo, I'm going to ask you, can it keep going up? What should the limit be? Is there a limit?
No, I don't think there is a limit because you're talking about a violation of the law. People are aware of it, and they have a right to avoid breaking the law by not parking their cars illegally. So I have no problem with it. It just hurts me. And by the way, Fred, can you loan me the extra $10 for the increase?
Me too.
Yeah. No, Charlotte, I was going to ask you. Don't you think Leo has that extra $10?
I think Leo has more than $10.
I think he's sandbagging us. All right. Leo and Charlotte, great job. Thanks so very much.
Thank you, Fred.
Okay.
Bye-bye.